which is something I think we all need right now. I mean, we always need it, but especially right now.
Sweet.
In this current climate of craziness.
You mean Groundhog Day?
Yes, the COVID apocalypse. Which is, I love that everyone's like, oh, can we just get this year over with? Like on January 1st, when the clock strikes midnight, everything just goes back to how it used to be. Like, I'm like, I don't think it works that way. I think we're going to be stuck in this a bit longer. But whatever.
Hey,
sure,
remember, I was just having this conversation. Remember last year around this time when we were so excited for like 2020?
Yes. Well, mainly because we were going away in like a month. So we were heading to sunny Vegas.
Just
wait. So we were excited for that.
Remember how like I went to Jamaica 2 years in a row at the end of November. So my Facebook memories kept popping up, my Jamaica pictures and videos. And I was like, but I didn't share them because, you know.
My screensaver at work is torturous because every time I click on it, it's some tropical beach screensaver thing. And I'm like, really? Really? It's awful.
Well, I am toying with the idea. A friend of mine moved her family to Barbados for a year.
Nice.
I'm toying with it.
Well, send me a postcard that I will rip up and throw away.
Is that going to be the end of our friendship?
As I'm in my winter jacket. No, it won't be the end. I'll just live vicariously through you. See, the trouble is I have clients who like, I'm thinking of already traveling because us Canadians, we have kind of this tradition that we hold out until Christmas and New Year's, and then we plan our vacation kind of January, February-ish to break up the craziness of winter.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can all live happy lives. We need that little vacation. This time around, it's not going to be the same. So people are already starting to be like, you know what, I think I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to find somewhere and go, which is great. If they have a job where they're working from home, because then they can just, their 2-week quarantine can still be work. Whereas me, I would be in a lot of trouble. Like I can't afford to take off a month where I go on vacation and then have to come back and quarantine.
Yeah.
I have yet to figure out how to massage someone virtually. I'm trying desperately to figure it out so that I
can't believe you have not mastered that skill.
It's coming. I'm trying to figure it out. Like maybe robot hands, or have you ever seen, what's that movie? Is it Demolition Man? Where Sandra Bullock and what's his name? Sylvester Stallone. They're getting it on, but they're doing it virtually. I feel like maybe that's what I need to do. I need to figure out how to virtually massage someone. So you put on the goggles and it just feels.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, you froze. I'm hoping you're going to unfreeze.
Any suggestions? I'm open to it.
You froze there for a second, so we had you doing this, and then it went away. Then it okay.
I think that sums me up, though. It's just doing some weird thing with my hands.
Yeah, like that robot hands thing that I texted you from that talk we did?
That hideous picture that you took of me when I was a guest speaker of something. Yeah, I remember.
And how I keep it on file just in case.
Exactly. Never get on Julie's bad side.
So we were going to talk about immune health today. We actually had a topic, but I just thought random segues into we don't know what.
It's great. It works.
Immune health.
Yeah. Why is that important? Do we need an immune system? I think we're depleting our immune system right now with all of these extra precautions we're taking. Unfortunately, just I mean, in the early 2000s, there was this whole movement of Lysol. Remember that? I know quite a few people who just went on this sterilization kick. So every single surface of their house, they Lysoled constantly. Their children, you know, they drop their dummy or pacifier. Immediately, you've got to sterilize it. And so that generation of children grew up to be quite sickly because your immune system, a huge part of it is developed as a child. You have to be exposed to things. The immune system doesn't just work. It has to be compromised in a way that it has to be exposed to bad things in order for it to get stronger.
Right.
And so when we're coddling it, it cannot do its job properly. And I think that also is why we might have seen an increase in autoimmune diseases, because people's immune system became so redundant, almost like lazy. It had nothing to do because people were over sterilizing everything. So then it just went haywire and was like,
autoimmune
you
also have a link to chemical exposure, primarily glyphosate. There's actually a doctor in the US who's done pretty extensive research, and he has created, I haven't seen all of it, but basically he's created a chart that highlights that as the use of glyphosate has gone up, so have autoimmune conditions, because what's going on is it's the glyphosate is attacking the microbes in the gut as well as creating perforation in the gut. And so that's why we've also seen a rise in leaky gut. And I don't think a lot of people realize this, but your immune system and your gut health are intimately tied. So most of your immune system lives in your gut. So if you're eating a lot of processed foods, fast foods, fried foods, chemical laden foods,
so all the good foods.
Yeah, so basically, if it's advertised on TV or on a billboard, you probably shouldn't eat it. Like, when was the last time you saw broccoli advertised on a billboard? Yeah.
Well, that's a really good point.
You know, so all the things that we're told to eat through advertising, if you can avoid eating those things and just eat like tons and tons of plants, your immune system is probably going to be okay because your gut's going to be okay. And the chemical thing is very, very important, because a lot of people don't want to invest that little bit of, well, depends on what you're buying, but that extra in organic foods. But if you're eating a lot of conventionally grown foods that are, you know, laced with chemicals, that has a really poor effect on your health in the long term. So yeah, there's a lot you can do to boost your immune health, but primarily it has to do with like looking at your diet, your lifestyle. Like missing out on sleep is also not a good thing.
Yes, that's something that eludes so many of us, especially in this climate where, you know, people are stressed to the max. Sleep often gets pushed to the wayside.
Oh, speaking of stress, also not good for immune health.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, well, both you and I are in the business of helping people. You on the side of what they're putting into their body and kind of mental health, and then me more the physical aspect. But there are so many things people can do. Just little changes that can be made that will drastically help their immune system for sure. And a huge part of that is just watching what you eat, getting back to like more of the raw foods, right? Like shopping on the outside of the grocery store. Hello, little puppy who made an appearance.
My co-star.
That right there is the very essence of just chilled.
Oh yeah, like if you want to know how to relax, you just watch an animal. Watch a cat or a dog. Like, they're constantly in chill mode. Although with cats, it's like if there's a noise they hear, they're like, I mean, dogs can be like that too. But yeah, I envy my puppies because when I'm working in my office, they're just like,
Oh, I know. It's ridiculous. We
Coco,
used to have,
Coco does this funny thing where she's laying on her back and she has this one paw like just kind of up. It's super hilarious.
animals, man. Some of them have it so easy. Oh, well. So you were talking about glyphosate. Is that what it's called? So what exactly is that and where is it found? And how do we avoid it?
Ha! As luck would have it, it's everywhere. Thanks, Monsanto. Oh. Yeah, it's very hard to avoid glyphosate right now because it is a water-soluble toxin and it is part of that herbicide Roundup.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. So Roundup would have come out in the late 70s, early 80s. And farmers, when they first started using Roundup, they were like, oh my God, this is awesome. We spray this stuff and our crops don't get eaten by bugs. However, there's a big however. What they didn't realize is the microbes in the soil, those Roundup actually destroys the microbes in the soil. And when you have dead soil, you don't have as much nutrition in the foods. What it does in the plants is it actually disrupts the amino acid profile. So when you have plants that are sprayed with Roundup, it can look like a tomato, but it won't have the complete amino acid profile of a tomato or wheat or whatever else it happens to be. And so, you know how people talk about, oh, they can't eat gluten here, but then they go to Europe and they can have pasta? The reason is that Europe is a lot stricter. So they've banned certain chemicals like glyphosate. But the other sort of interesting thing is we have bacteria where? In our gut microbiome. So when we're eating foods that have glyphosate in it, we're actually destroying our gut in the process. And so that's why there's this rise of autoimmune conditions. And it's also linked to very serious things like cancer. Monsanto has about 4,000 lawsuits-ish, 4,000-ish. And there have been quite a few really large settlements in the last 3 years. Like we're talking in the tens of millions of dollars against Monsanto for people who developed non-Hodgkin's lymphoma as a result of using Roundup. But here's the other interesting thing. Maybe like almost 2 years ago, Bayer bought Monsanto. Bayer is that big German company. It's a pharmaceutical company. So there is a law, I think it's a law or some kind of bill in the United States where you can't sue a pharmaceutical company.
Okay.
So even though there have been these judgments against Monsanto, because Bayer is now the parent company, the judgments will likely never be paid out.
Wow.
I know. What the what?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what can you do? What can you do? So they're eating organic is one of the best ways to avoid or at least severely limit exposure to glyphosate. But because it's water soluble, it goes up into the atmosphere, it comes down in the rain. I have it written down somewhere, but like every breath we're taking contains a certain amount of glyphosate.
Right.
Fun times, right? But you know how you take Biomedic? That's what gets rid of it.
And how does that work? Like, how does it get rid of it?
It actually pulls the glyphosate out of the cell, out of the gut and removes it. So
I see.
So that's why I recommend it, because it gets rid of not just glyphosate, but heavy metals and chemicals and stuff. It's kind of like one-stop shop. But it's great for, and it also repairs the lining of the gut. So I kind of consider it an insurance policy, since the environment is like we need to do a lot of environmental cleanup, especially when it comes to the food system.
Mm-hmm.
So until the governments wake up and start banning it globally, there's not much, but you can sort of do stuff personally.
But I mean, how long does it take for soil to be good again? Because I imagine that it's all in the soil and everything then, right?
Yeah. So you
Like
would,
soil's contaminated by them using the overuse of these pesticides. So how long would it take if they banned it across the world now?
50
How long
years.
would it take? 50. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
50. So for example, they banned DDT back in, I think, the 70s, if I'm not mistaken. They can still find traces of DDT in the environment. So there are microbes that can eat glyphosate, but we would need a universal ban, and they would need to sort of get to work before it kind of goes out of the food system. But they've like found it in breast milk and cereals, and oh yeah, like,
Wow.
so you've got a newborn whose immune system is so fragile, they're just developing, and if their mom's not watching what she's eating or she's growing conventionally grown food, then that's going to be in the breast milk.
Right.
Yeah. So it's really, really important. And I know like some people, their eyes kind of glaze over when you start talking about this stuff, but it is so, we all have like so much power to change our individual health. But it's important to be aware that these are the things that are going on that are affecting our health, and then to take action to actually support health, right? That's really what it is. And so then, I mean, like, since this whole thing started, I've used those hand sanitizers 0 times.
Right.
Because I wash my hands, I moisturize after, and I just like load up on greens and, you know, make sure the gut health is on point, to take my biomedic, and everything is like, it's December, I haven't even caught a cold.
So what are the top, like, say, 5 fruits or vegetables people should be ingesting right now that will help them boost their immune system?
So when we're talking about vitamin C, like, don't go to the health food store and get vitamin C, because that's ascorbic acid. It's not complete vitamin C. So, I mean, I do take something that's a complete vitamin C, but like lots of, you know, your berries, lots of different kinds of berries. This time of year, obviously, we don't have the same kind of access that we do in the summertime, but tons and tons of greens are also really, really helpful. So basically, when you're going through a stressful time, you need to be loading up on B vitamins and vitamin C. That's what's going to support your immune health, because you're going through nutrients at a faster rate. So that would be good. Banana is really good because it feeds the good bacteria in your gut. It functions as a prebiotic.
Oh.
Yeah.
A
So
banana? Okay.
yeah, especially when it's more on the greener side, because it's,
Yeah, I was going to say, I remember you saying that once before.
yeah. So you can literally, broccoli is also really good for gut health. Yeah.
Is it best to eat it raw, or is it okay if you boil broccoli? Because you know how some things lose all their nutritional value when you boil them. Is broccoli one of those, or is broccoli fine if you boil it?
No, I think it's fine.
Okay.
You can have it like al dente, like
Right.
not mushy, where all the so the thing is, anytime you cook food, you're gonna, like, anything that has vitamin C in it, when you cook it, you're gonna destroy the vitamin C. So the best thing to do is to just have a lemon and squeeze it in some water and just drink it, because that's gonna, yeah, as soon as you start cooking things that have vitamin C, it loses its nutrition. So, you know, obviously you would never cook berries unless you're
Right.
So,
well, a
you know,
pie or something.
making a pie, but having raw is usually best. And broccoli, I would say like just don't boil it to death. Like
Right.
have it al dente. And if you're someone who doesn't eat a lot of, veggies, your digestive system's probably not used to it. So I would say start with a quarter cup, half cup, and kind of build up till you can have, loads and loads of veggies. A lot of times people, their diet is so processed, and then they try to eat raw fruits and veggies, and they're like, oh, like I got all gassy, like, because you don't have the microbes. So you just got to like introduce gently and start to build it up. So the microbes in your gut change.
Interesting. And how long, so if you're building it up, how long do you do that for a week? Do you do that for 2 weeks and then introduce something else or more? Or is it just a few days and then you can start to?
I would try like every 3 or 4 days, try adding more. See how your system is. Everybody's system's different, right? But yeah. So I'm getting the flash for this.
That we got to do. I got to say my little piece.
Go
All right, let's see. Well, first of all, thanks for listening. This show can also be heard on the Barn Burner Network, Inc. on its 122 platforms. The H.E.R network is part of the Barn Burner Media Network. Please check it out at www.barnburner.ca for all the news and programming. Barn Burner, watch it, hear it, read it, download it, live it.
Nice.
Well, bam.
Sweet.
Done. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Enjoy your day.
Have a great day.
Bye.